Hello everybody, it is Reddit Roundup, and today we bring you r/confessions. I quit my job and they kept paying me 3 months after. You already know I kept the money. When I was 18, I got a job between semesters at a coffee shop. They are a big brand in my country, and they are owned by Coca-Cola. I just wanted to work on my Christmas break, and when my classes started again, I quit. I talked to my manager, explained to him, and even signed a letter of resignation. Payday arrived. I checked my bank app for curiosity's sake. They deposited what used to be my salary. This continued for 3 months. I was getting money out of my account every pay and saved it in cash. Because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't spending it. If I could keep it, I would be more than happy. I was getting nervous because the salary kept coming. So I went to the HR woman, explained it, and she told me to just bring the money. I was afraid she wouldn't report this, and later they will require the money again. So I never went again. She called like 2 days later, and then I never heard back. It was like $1,500 in total, which I used to travel, buy a new gaming PC, and invest in some goods to flip. When I was a kid, I'd intentionally put lice in other kids' hair. It's pretty safe to say I was a weird kid. In my 10-year-old mind, it wasn't fair that I had nits and none of my classmates did, although they probably did, honestly. To combat this, I decided it would be a smart idea to pick out the lice from my hair and drop them on other people's as I walked past them. I even did it to my teacher on multiple occasions, and it lasted for months, maybe even over a year. TLDR, I was an insane little kid. I regret trolling my coworker even though she deserved it at the time. I was working a maintenance job at a small airport, cleaning and fixing things like lights and such. They hired a new office manager that was technically higher than me in the organization, but not my direct supervisor. First day meeting, after exchanging names and such, she found out that I was 42 at the time, not married, nor did I have a girlfriend. And her response was, "So what's wrong with you?" And this kind of set the tone for most of the interactions I had with her. Every day, she would try and find extra work for me and generally talk down to me. Complained to my supervisor and it did nothing. The day she called me to straighten a picture hanging on the wall 4 feet from her desk was the last straw at that point. The thing was, I got to stay late and clean the terminal after business hours, alone. I did a lot of things to her, anything I could think of to drive her nuts. Made little cuts in her scotch tape so it would never come off clean. Ran her favorite pen in the dirt till it wouldn't work. Changed her voicemail password every couple of weeks so she'd have IT reset it. Of course, she would write it down on a sticky note under her notepad. Pretty obvious. Took bolts out of her chair so now it would wobble. Put salt in her special weight loss powder she was always making. Planned on adding just a little bit each week. Sprayed her desk with a stencil adhesive. Didn't glue anything down but made it catch every piece of dust and just felt sticky. Put like a teaspoon of oil in her hand lotion and shook it up. Few drops of oil in her houseplants trying to kill it. It didn't work, thankfully. Tamped the color cartridge from her printer into the dirt so it wouldn't print color very well. Petty stuff that made me feel better, I guess. She was on a weight loss program and had 2 glass jars with marbles in them for the amount of weight she had lost and another for how much she had left to lose. Every night she got to re-lose a pound. Yes, I was that petty. Now for the part where I started to feel bad. In about 2 months of my petty retribution campaign, her husband suddenly had a heart attack and died unfortunately at the age of 34. That was the beginning of her whole life falling to pieces. Now raising an 8-year-old boy by herself, she lost his salary and turns out he had not been paying the insurance bills, so that was gone. She couldn't make her bills and lost her fancy house and had to relocate. They came to work and repoed her fancy car as well. Now her kid was acting up at school, and more than once she had to leave midday because of it. She messed up something that was her job, and she was written up and then suspended for 2 weeks when she told her manager off. I ended up being the guy listening to her and giving her advice when I could. After about 18 months, she applied for a higher paying job and got it, thankfully. I still run into her from time to time, and that smug, better than everyone attitude is gone now, thankfully. She is a very nice and sweet person. Her kid has straightened out with some counseling, and she is now married, and to all appearances, she is living a happy life. We are not the best of friends or anything, but I still have pangs of guilt knowing the petty stuff I had done. I stole from customers at work and never got caught. When I was 17, I was in an abusive relationship. My partner, 5 years older than me at the time, would control all my money and who could contact me, etc. I was working 2 jobs and all the money went to him. Anything that was missing, I had to explain for. One of my jobs was McDonald's, where I would take orders at the drive-thru window. I was working right underneath a camera, so I had to be very methodical and calculated. I would put through the customer's order and then tell them the total was an extra $1 more than what it actually was. I'd only do this when people ordered a few different things, so the price difference wasn't very noticeable. It was also back when most people paid in cash. When they gave me the money, I would make a mental note of that extra dollar in the cash register and then serve the next customer. Each time it got to $10, I would move my pen to a certain position on the bench to help me keep track. I would stop at $50 because that's the highest monetary denotion you can get in a single note. Then I would look for an opportunity when the register was open, like if a customer gives me exact change, to lean over the register, quickly pull out a 50 note and let it drop on the floor, and then step on it with my shoe. After 5 to 10 minutes, I would then bend down and pull up my sock or tie my laces. Then I would slip the note into my shoe. I would do this 2 to 3 times per week, and it gave me enough money to have a small amount of independence. I don't feel bad about stealing from people, and I'm really proud of getting away with it.